all for sharing all of our 3 pictures. Love the variety and just the heart and everything that everyone has to offer. So thank you again for sharing. We're going to go on to our main event, the reason why we're all here. As we're taking notes, or as we're continuing this, please make sure you're taking notes, taking pictures, and tagging us in that. We want to be able to share this with the larger global community as well. Our theme for this month, as we mentioned, is Camino. This is all about the path, the journey. More literally, it is an actual path in which people take from country to country, a walking route, which is incredible. Whenever I watch those videos, I'm like, that's something. And so this, of course, more metaphorically sort of shows our internal journey, our creative journey, our life's journey, the things that sort of bring us to where we're at right now. And so I am so incredibly excited to have the speaker that we do today, because her journey is one that can't really be replicated. And she also isn't new to the Creative Mornings community, so I'm really especially excited for her. You're probably familiar with her work. She shows up every month and helps us capture all of our speakers' talk and translates them into these gorgeous visual notes. And so she does that as a full-time gig. She goes from here to there to sort of help translate people's thoughts into visuals, which is fun for me, as someone who can't draw. But what you don't know about Katya is that she is from Russia, and she's been doing this. She's been drawing since she was young, and not only has this been a passion of hers, she wasn't able to actually make this her full-time gig until she came to America. She used to be a journalist in Russia until she came here and started, I don't want to just say doodling, but making these beautiful arts. So without further ado, I want to introduce Katya Balakina.
I'm right here. There you are. Thanks so much, Adun. Such a nice introduction. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up this early. I'm really happy to be here with you, and I'm glad to see how many of you showed up. It makes it a lot of fun. Odun said that for those of you who are not new to Creative Morning, my name is familiar. Maybe not my face is familiar, but my back is familiar, because I do a lot of graphic recordings for Creative Morning speakers. If this event is your first time with Creative Mornings, please scan this QR code. I printed for you. It will take you straight to my website, and you will see graphic recordings. Hopefully that will give you a better understanding what I'm gonna talk about today. And today's topic is Camino. And again, Odun mentioned that it means a path. And I wanna talk about my path. And if 10 years ago, you had asked me what kind of professional, personal, or spiritual path I was on, I wouldn't have been able to answer. First, because 10 years ago, I didn't speak English. And second, that I had no idea that I was on a path at all. Because sometimes it's just how it is. In the present moment, looking ahead, you don't know you're on a path. You're just going and trying. It's only afterwards, when you look back, you see how important and almost inevitable your steps were. Looking back, you see your Camino in full clarity. And today, I want you to go on my Camino with me, but not from beginning to now, like a traditional way, but from now to the beginning. So we can see all the steps that brought me here I'm in here at Creative Morning with you. Let's see how that's gonna work. Another little housekeeping thing for today. I'm not giving up graphic recording for this morning. I'm going to try make a few drawings. I've never done that before. I'm not sure anyone has done it before, so we'll see if that's even possible. So I'm inviting you to this experiment with me as well. Okay, let's start the Camino from now. And now we're in America. And America is the place where I truly learned the value of my work. I moved here in 2022, do the math. And when I did that, I had no professional connections and no real career plan. All I knew that I'd fallen in love with graphic recording. Over the last few years, I started doing graphic recording in Europe when I lived there, and I took it very seriously, and I treated it like work. And when I say I treated it like work, I mean I was trying to, you know that phrase, fake it till you make it? Like nobody was hiring me for graphic recording. I didn't have to show up at the graphic recording studio every morning. I just started calling myself a graphic recorder because I saw a huge value in it. But back then, I didn't know if anyone else did or would see value in it. But I really wanted to commit to graphic recording. I really wanted to make a career out of it. And I thought that if I want to make a living at something I really love, I should go to America. Because it's the biggest market in the world. I hope it's gonna stay that way, at least for a while longer. And if something doesn't fly in America, it's probably not gonna fly anywhere else. That's how I ended up here. When I came to America, first thing I learned that I don't know what term people use here for what I used to do in Europe. Because graphic recording in Europe is called scribing. And I used to call myself a scriber. And when I came to America and started Googling opportunities, I quickly realized that you guys call something else scribing, because I often ended up on like medical websites. I'm still not 100% sure what scribing is, but what I used to call scribing in Europe, here you call graphic recording. And it's how I found first graphic recording agency I contacted and started working with them. And those first gigs I did for that agency were eye-opening, because so many things I was worried about, like my language level, my networking skills, my actual graphic recording experience, my small talk skills that were terrible, they didn't seem to matter at all. What mattered, that was the quality of my boards and their ability to connect people. And that's what clients loved the most. And to my surprise, they were really ready to pay for it here. I still remember that was also one of the early gigs. I did a gig in Georgia for a Fortune 500 company. Back then, I also didn't know what Fortune 500 means. I Googled it later, just to feel less pressure, I guess. So that was a full-day gig with a big company, high-stakes presentations, serious financial planning, all kinds of stuff. And I was working there the whole day, doing graphic recording of clients' ideas. And you know how on site sometimes it's hard to know if the client likes the result because everyone is busy and everyone is doing their own thing. But that day I really liked the result. I did 5 or 6 big boards, twice bigger than this, 60 by 40 inches, visualizing clients' ideas. And I had to leave a little early, so I was on my way out, kind of sneaking out of the room, and I looked back to see the space one more time, and I saw all those serious-looking guys, like all wearing suits, decision makers. They were standing looking at my boards and smiling, nodding, pointing. And they seemed not like those serious guys anymore. They seemed like curious kids. And that moment stuck with me. I still think about it a lot. That shows me one of the things I like the most about graphic recording, that it truly connects people to not only to each other and the ideas people have, but also to their own creative selves, like to their inner kids in the best way possible. I think it's a good time to start drawing on the board. Please support me. I've never done that before. I'm not sure my brain is gonna work. My hands definitely don't work right now. I'm gonna put my mic down just for a few seconds, because I feel like it's impossible to do at the same time. It's gonna fall, never mind.
I got you.
No, that's fine. So what I wanna put on the board at the beginning is get paid. That would be enough, right? Thank you guys, I appreciate it. For what you love to do. Woohoo. I brought different colors of markers, but I understand that it's not gonna be possible to color. So let's just draw a little dollar, even though you want to get paid big dollar. And a little heart, yeah? Let's go United States. Value. Awesome, good start. Thanks for your support, guys. Nice. So yeah, America, now it's the place where I learned a true value of my work. And now I can basically live a dream. I get to travel all over the country, work with different clients, different events, but the goal, I didn't pay for it, and the goal is still the same, to use the power of visuals to bring fun, inspiration, and engagement to people. But since we're moving backwards, let's take a step back. Because I could never have done what I've done in America if I hadn't failed a million different ways first. This year, 2026, marks 10 years since I left Russia, my home country. In 2016, I moved to a tiny Nordic country of Estonia. And Estonia was where I joined the local Creative Mornings chapter for the first time. No, thank you. And at Creative Mornings in Estonia, I started trying my graphic recordings first on live audiences. And here I have a little side story to celebrate Creative Mornings. They're super great, and I'm super grateful to Creative Mornings for this start and for the opportunity to keep doing what I'm doing, even 10 years later here in Chicago. I worked with a few chapters all over the world, and once I did a gig with Creative Mornings Kansas City. And the host asked me a few personal questions to introduce me to their audience. And the host asked me what chapters I worked with. And I said, you can name Chicago and Tallinn. And back then I thought everyone in America knows what Tallinn is. And I was very wrong. Because when the host got on stage introducing me, she was like, and here is Katya, all the way from Thailand. And that's another lesson that's not going to go on the board, that nobody really knows what Tallinn is. And I started saying Estonia. Anyway, now you know that Tallinn is Estonian capital. and it's where I started doing graphic recordings for Creative Mornings. And those first graphic recordings, they were, honestly speaking, one big failure. I failed because of the language, or I can even say languages I didn't speak, Estonian and English. I failed at networking. I failed to deliver on time. I failed to come up with images that I thought were as good as I thought they should be, because I spent too much time trying to figure out what people were talking about. And I failed to realize the vision I had for what I could do as a graphic recorder. Right now, and many of you witnessed that, I can make a graphic recording in 25 minutes. Back then, it would take me days to complete one graphic recording. That was before AI, if you remember that era, and before advanced translating tools. So I had to take a lot of different steps to finish one board. First, I had to record a talk on my phone while making drawings of what I thought I understood. Then, at home, I had to transcribe the recording, translate it into Russian, pick the ideas I thought were important, translate them back to basic English, and I would still get every sentence wrong. That was a lot of work and a lot of pressure. I remember when I had one of my first remote gigs, I even asked my husband, John, to join the call to help me because I was so not confident about my level of my language. And I just want to describe you that setup. I was on a Zoom with the client on their event and without headphones, so John could hear what people are talking about. And he plugged his laptop to a wall TV through an HDMI cable, and he was typing really quickly, and I looked at the TV, trying to pick up ideas from the TV and draw them on my iPad on that Zoom meeting. Thank you. I don't think even CIA has that kind of technology. And a lot of those first gigs brought a lot of frustration, a lot of overthinking, a lot of overworking. But they also showed me my real limitations and my real potential. Also, it showed me potential of my relationship because I think John got his first gray hair that day. He had to do transcribing for me. I used to think that back then I just wasn't ready for serious graphic recording. Maybe the clients were too big, language was too complex, all kinds of stuff. But now I understand that I was ready, just not for the huge success. I was ready for that failure. I was ready to fail. And I needed to hit those walls to find my own way around those walls. And it feels like a good point to get back to the board. I'm slightly terrified of it. Thank you. Let's put the next point on the board. And I called it fail fast and fun. And here I'm going to put a little trash bin where a lot of my early work could go. And let's put failure. And that was Estonia, and Estonian capital is? Tallinn. Awesome, thank you guys. Let's add a little color too. Yeah, you do a spell check too, because it all can go very wrong. So that's how step by step, slowly, I was getting better, not even in language, but in the language, visual language of graphic recording as well. But what was a part of it, that by getting fluent in graphic recording, I feel like I unlocked something I've forgotten about from my previous life. And that is the strength of storytelling. Let's flip the page. We flipped the page, and we got to Russia. Only metaphorically. Don't worry, lucky you. The first thing people noticed about my graphic recording is drawing. And that's right. Drawing is a huge part of graphic recording. But I've come to think about graphic recordings as canvases for stories. And I'd always been obsessed with drawing. My mom says that my first word was bumaga, which is paper in Russian, because I always wanted more paper. And it was really expensive, and we couldn't afford buying that. Luckily, I grew up next to a huge paper factory that was built by Gulag prisoners, my grandfather among them. My dad's aunt used to work at that factory. So every once in a while, she would steal, and steal because nobody could afford buying anything. But since she worked there, she could steal me some paper. And that was just awesome. Oh, thanks so much, Adun, for changing slides. I just noticed that I forgot to do that. So you can see a Russian spelling for bumaga. Too many tasks. I didn't understand until much later that I was not only passionate about drawings, I was also passionate about adding little stories, little comments to my drawings, to my illustrations. Something funny or surprising. And as soon as I learned how to write, I started adding little speech bubbles, little comments, almost like doing comic book illustrations. The only difference that I didn't know they exist. I felt like I had stories to tell, and I just couldn't keep them to myself. And that's how, at age 12, I started working for a local newspaper. And believe it or not, but I quickly became a village celebrity. And that's a real thing, because once my dad got a doctor's appointment sooner, because the hospital staff knew my name. And I actually got my start professionally as a journalist, too. I spent most of my 20s working on the radio as a radio host, full-time news editor, covering all kinds of stuff, from politics to activists to a woman who felt like she was mistreated by the authorities because she had 35 dogs in her apartment. I know, I still can smell that place. It's how I learned that a good story can get your water pipes fixed. But I also learned that a story can get you in trouble. A colleague of mine got kidnapped from the street because a local boss didn't like the stories he was working on. So that's a dark side of storytelling. And I just chose to focus on the bright side of storytelling, the engaging, creative, all about connection and inspiration. And again, it's a good place to put something meaningful on this board. And that's tell your story. And we're almost done with this graphic recording. It's going to be a little book, smiling, telling a story. And that was in Russia. And Okay, let's hope it's all spelled right. John is checking. An old habit. Let's add some color too, like a speech bubble. So that's my Camino, guys. We did it. Thank you. We drew it together. When you walk a Camino, you have to strike a balance. You need to make sure your backpack, this guy, is nice and light, but that it still has all the things you need on your journey. And after unfolding my Camino backwards, I feel like my backpack has all the things I need right now. It's my bumaga, my storytelling skills from my years as a journalist. It's my willingness to fail in every language possible. And it's my deep belief that my work has value to other people. And I have no idea where this path leads me. What's next? But I also don't think it matters very much. What matters is recognizing that the foundation is solid, and for me it means the next step is going to be solid too. Thank you, guys. You did it.
You did it.
You did so good.
Thanks so much again.
Give her a round of applause. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Katya. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
I'm like obsessed with this. This is so cute. Like I'm just like gagged. I don't know how you do it. It's great. I'm going to open the floor up for questions and for a little Q&A. If anyone has, we have some really excited folks in the audience. So I'm going to start with you since you're closer. I can pass the mic if you want.
Oh, I'm loud. Let's go.
There you go. We'll just do it for the video.
Okie dokie.
Okay, video. Hi, Katya. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for sharing your art with us in real time. It was very fun to be a part of this with you. Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much.
You talked about making failure fun. And I really want to hear more about how you made failure fun, because I am currently working on that. And could use some tips, please.
Wow, I don't know if I'm the right person to give actual tips. I guess just treating things you do as a source of fun. I think you can think of things, okay, I have to do it to make money. I have to do it to establish myself. I have to do this and that. That all works, but it all can make failing really scary. But if your main goal is going to be to have fun, I think that makes that level of scariness a little less scary, if that works. Just have fun, fail fast, have fun, and fail fun. Thanks so much. Great question.
We had another hand, yeah.
I'm just so impressed with the fact that you weren't a native English speaker. So can you describe
Thank you.
your journey from learning a new alphabet, then learning a new language, then learning, because you have to do a lot of jargon for the meetings and idioms. I mean, can you tell us about that journey?
Thank you so much. It's a great question. Made me think, was I like, how was I learning English alphabet? I mean, it's very similar to Cyrillic alphabet, so that wasn't too difficult for me. And the world I grew up was all very Americanized because we all watched American movies. American names were the part of like everyday life. All the actors, all the pop stars. So that all sounded familiar. I think I probably kind of intuitively followed that idea of failing fun. And I started doing graphic recordings, as I mentioned, way before I could speak even like conversational English. And I just had so many hours of listening. You know, if you ever had like a foreign language exam, listening is a part of it. Like you have to prove that you can understand a spoken language. And instead of doing that in like academic environment, I just put myself through hours and hours of advanced listening. And I think that was my main tool. And of course, John, my husband is American. His English is pretty fluent. A lot of speaking practice as well. Thank you.
So you've engaged in multiple disciplines throughout your career, and I'm curious, this is kind of a two-part question. Like one way that you feel like your previous background in journalism has really aided in your visual art, and in the future, because you are still on your Camino, is like what is a discipline that you've engaged with that you want to reintegrate into your career, or a discipline that you haven't engaged with that you want to integrate in your career? Basically, how do you plan or want to grow your skill set in the future?
Wow, what a great question. I feel like I need to think for 25 seconds to answer. I mentioned a few times my networking and small talk skills. I think being in America and learning American ways of doing business, I feel like I know so little about it. And probably being more fluent in that language would help me on my journey. That's the quickest thing I can think about right now. But I think the honest and true question is, at this moment, I don't know. I probably will discover it later. And I would think to myself, right, I was always meant to try this new thing. But I guess I'll find out later what that thing is going to be. Thanks for your question.
TBD.
Exactly.
And we have a question over here. And that'll be our last question, except if anyone has a burden.
I saw another hand.
Oh, okay, perfect. And it'll be our last.
Hello. So I have a question that's kind of a continuation of that. I'm in a group of creatives who often start their journey from their passion, right? Starting either because we love doing it or because it's a skill we have, and then taking it into a paid space or a professional space. What's that journey been like for you, and do you still draw or do storytelling as a hobby in addition to getting paid for it, or how do you navigate that space between professionalism in your creative space and hobby as a creative space?
That's a great question. Thank you. For some reason, maybe I didn't spend enough time doing graphic recording. For some reason, it still doesn't feel like a burden. I'm still looking forward to every gig. I still have a lot of fun. And I still feel like that's still my hobby. I still feel like I can be myself doing a graphic recording, even if it's a big company and like those serious looking guys are in the room. I do fine art. I do paint canvases and also murals. If anyone has a wall, please let me know. It can look really fun. So I personally, I don't find it challenging for myself to strike that balance between work and fun, because for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe in a year, I will say different things if I hit a burnout or something. But I just feel super excited about every work opportunity and every board I do. It just feels like I'm having fun and getting paid for it. Thank you.
And we have one last question over here.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It definitely is resonating with, I'm sure, me and a lot of other folks here. So for every Camino, there is the straight path, the path that you're on, but then there's sometimes a shiny key off to the side or a detour off to the side. How do you manage to stay on your Camino and not just follow in every detour out there?
I think I do follow a lot of those detours. That's why this simple 3-step journey took me 35 years. I think it just happens. Sometimes you spend 5 years for something you didn't like. You learn a little lesson, and that's just normal. That's why we have these years to live. Thank you. Great question. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Arjun. Thank you, Creative Mornings.
Woo! Thank you so much, Katya. This was amazing.
Can I
And
keep
thank you all-
coloring?
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. And thank you, everyone, for engaging